Questions from my heart ringing, ringing every day. Who am I? Who am I? Some more, believe some more, love some more. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine.
My name is Mary Iwan. I'm into baking of cakes, small chops, meat pie, buns, egg roll, and so many others. So what actually prompted me to start my business was what I actually went through in 2019. I was actually in the north, and because of the riot, we had to come down to another state. So while I was there was no job. My husband wasn't working, I was not working, and the whole thing was, it wasn't funny any longer. And then I had two kids already, so there was no way out. But there was something that I just thought about. I was like, oh, I actually learned how to bake while I was 2017. And I said, okay, this is something I can just start up. I can start doing something about it just to earn some money. And I took a bold step, got to the market, got some things, and this is something that it's been long I laid my hands on. But at that very moment, because of the situation that was on ground, I just had to be strong and take that bold step and do certain things. So I flashed back to what I've learned along the line, came up with some things. I did some buns. That was what I actually started with. I made some buns. I just did it in my own way. Like, I didn't do it the way I was taught. I came up with my own way of doing it as if I was cooking. So by God's grace, it actually came out well. And when I was done with it, I took it out for sale, and people actually patronized it, and we were like, wow, this is nice, it's lovely, it's nice, the taste is good. So I was impressed, and I was so happy about the feedback I got. So I said to myself that, okay, with this, I think I'm motivated to do more. So from there, I added the sales of egg roll, the buns, the egg roll, the meat pie. So after the baking, I'll go about, delivering them. And after some times, people were coming down to my house, because I was actually doing it from home. People were coming down to my house to get them from me. So I was giving them at wholesale prices. So by the grace of God, we actually grew. The business was growing, and I added baking of cakes to it, birthday cakes, wedding cakes, which though from the onset, it wasn't easy, because I had to start going for to lay my hands on some handouts to remember what I've bought. By His grace, everything was coming out well, and that was where I started from again, and the whole business and was going on well. So I now focused more on birthday cakes, and the buns was strictly on pre-orders, because the others were becoming more. So I focused more on birthday cakes and wedding cakes too. So along the line, we were making, the business was becoming more interesting. I had to move from doing it from my house to a shop where I had some hands helping me. And in a week, we are making like up to half a bag of flour. And after some time, because of the large patronage, it was becoming more interesting. And before a month, could finish a bag of flour. So it was that interesting. by God's grace. I actually had an edge over other products like baking products. Like, the normal thing people do, they just make snacks, especially buns and all of that, without doing it in a special way. But mine was something totally different. It was like this something that was frying, but it was looking as if it was baked. And there was a time I went to supply, and I met some set of people where I used to deliver the buns and they were like, "Oh, madam, you are the one doing this?" I said yes. So they were like, "Ah, how are you doing it that the taste is different from other snacks, other buns that will buy around?" So I told him like, it's the grace of God, and it's also my secret recipe. And he was like, "Oh, since they born me, I never chop this kind of buns for my life." And this is someone that is over 40 years. Yes, people were actually giving that testimony because I was adding some special, ingredient to it. Like there's this special flavor I use for it that people don't even know about. So I was using that special flavor, and I was actually getting what I want, and it was really selling. And because of that, people book for it, especially the buns. People book for it, and they're like, "Oh, I will need this." Some people started using it for their child education. During their child education, they order for it. During their school closing date, they order for it. So it was as interesting as that, and God was really helping us. So that was the edge I actually had over other products. And by the grace of God, I'm actually looking at taking this business to a higher level, like being able to sell off like 2 to 3 bags of flour within a month, where my products can get to other states, like using some method. And because we are just starting, I don't really have the machineries that I need, especially the wedding cakes that requires much pans. Now I have the oven I have is not an industrial oven, and it's not as big as it ought to be. But for now, that's what I'm managing. And instead of baking maybe once or twice, I'll have to like bake for like 4 to 5 times because the oven is small. Because you know that wedding cakes are actually very bulky, and a lot of sizes and different pans are being used, both the big ones and the smaller ones. So because of the size of my oven, I actually make use of, I spend more time baking those cakes. And by God's grace, we are looking forward to getting bigger ovens, getting bigger mixers also, because when there's no light and you have to turn with your hand, it's energy tasking. And we hope to get a bigger mixer. We hope to get generators, because also when there's no light, you have to power your gen to power your mixers too. That's what we're actually looking up to, and we hope and pray to God that by His grace it will be sorted out. The viability of the business is actually coming from like the wedding cakes. Like that is a very tasky moment of the business, the most tasking time, because like we know that every Saturdays, especially, wedding programs are being taken, they are taking place. So a lot of wedding cakes have to come in. There are sometimes we don't even meet up with some others because of the unavailability of some equipment. Like I mentioned earlier, that we don't have an industrial oven. I don't have an industrial mixer, because they're actually bigger than the sizes that I have at the moment. So because of that, there are times we have to reject some orders, or we go out there to borrow. And when you borrow, the amount you are going to pay in return is actually very high. And end of the end of it, you'll be left with virtually nothing. So we actually pleading for or looking forward to getting an industrial mixer, getting an industrial oven, a bigger one, which will help us meet up with the expected demands from our customers. I'm actually looking at a situation where I can be able to deliver all my orders at the speculated time, and with this, it has to be with the help of the equipment like the industrial oven, the industrial mixers, and generators to power them. And also, we also look forward to training others, because when we get these things out there, people will be like, oh, I would love to know how to do this, I want to know how you do it. And we also prepare for trainings to also teach people and dish out that knowledge, so that even when you are not there tomorrow, your business can still go on. And people that have nothing even to do at the moment, just trying to lay their hands on one or two things, with this we can help them even to curb to an extent the rate of unemployment. There are sometimes we have to employ some people to help even in mixing some things, because there are times we don't have light, so we employ the manpower to help us in mixing manually this batter, and which is not easy. So we're actually looking forward to curbing that, getting more equipment, getting more established, and having our business at the peak of it. Thank you. Our WhatsApp business line is Ashadora Nosh and more, and the phone number is 08101333100.
Gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine.